When the war broke out in Europe in 1914, the United States was very much a country in transition. Everybody thinks of American society in the early 1950s as just being really straight-laced, really conservative, and we have this nostalgic image of it. But beneath the surface, changes were happening. One of the effects of racial and gender discrimination is silencing. And both today and at the time, hardly anybody knew anything about the 6/888. I'm Trevor Getz. I'm a professor of history at San Francisco State University, and we're in my home in Richmond, California. I mean, the funny thing is I'm not a military historian. I'm really interested in the social history of veterans and the social history of other topics, marriage, women, things like that. But veterans have always stayed close to my heart because of my grandpa. And that's really how I became interested in even being a historian at all. I loved my grandfather. He was a mountain of a man, actually. He was 6'6", and he was going on 400 pounds at the time. And he loved to sit at the table and tell his grandkids stories. I was the only one who would listen. And he'd have a bottle of schnapps, and he would have a plate of these Polish sandwiches, which were made with schmaltz, with chicken fat instead of with butter. Big slices of salami, not pork, obviously, because he was kosher-ish, and big thing of like peasant bread, and he'd tell us these stories about the war. And I didn't realize this at the time, but he had been a soldier in the Second World War, an infantry officer on the ground in a lot of the fighting, big battles, North Africa, up the coast of Italy to Monte Cassino. I imagined these things in completely the wrong way, right? I thought that, he would be telling me these stories. I'd think, a bunch of guys like kind of punching it out at the top of a mountain somewhere. Because I was just a little kid, but, that's when I started, reading about the Second World War. Finally, when I went to my bar mitzvah, my rabbi told me I'd be a great rabbi. And I had the wisdom at the time to know that I wouldn't. I mean, I probably would have joined the military. There are a lot of specializations I think I could have fit in. But I was fascinated by history. I really wanted to study history, and I just kind of fell into one thing after another, the way you do. It's not all pre-planned, right? You just sort of go along.